our first speaker, who's actually going to be a little interview between me and Michelle Morrison. The question is, I think I do. Here we go, click. There she is. But do you know what? She's going to appear all the way from, I believe, San Francisco. Is it San Francisco? All the way from San Francisco. What time of night is it there? There she is. Michelle, can you hear me? Great. Can you say something?
Can you hear me?
Ah, fantastic. What time of day is it there, Michelle?
It's currently midnight.
Oh my God, right, okay. Midnight yesterday, isn't it? Yes, because, yes, you're behind us, aren't you? But very much ahead of us in all sorts of thinking. Now, Michelle, we're going to talk about, I have in my hands here the little red book. It's not Mal's little red book. It's a different red book called Ladies Who Create, a feminist propaganda. And you've also got it as well. And the nice thing is I gather that all the people in this room have got it as well. And we're going to spend the next 10 minutes or so just have an opportunity for us to explore what this is about and why you've done it. I always think there's something slightly dangerous about a sort of a white-haired, middle-aged man standing on a stage and asking a woman, why do we need a book about feminism? But I'm just going to go into that space. Tell me a little bit, how did the book come about? And give us some context as to where this book came from.
Well, the big context is that society has made progress, right? Like we have women in boardrooms now, but we still do not have equity or parity in the ways that make life meaningful. And so women everywhere are still fighting a good fight, and feminists, who are people who believe in the equality of men and women, are also fighting. And so this piece is a passion project that we actually created in response to COVID. We used to have events and gatherings and many feminist rallies to bring together creative women in the industry for support and inspiration. And we couldn't gather anymore. And so we pulled our funds and decided we were going to put it in writing and show the world what we were all about. And so this is a publication from the Ladies Who Create community, which is representative of women and non-binary people throughout the creative industry. And we're so excited to share it with you. So we couldn't have a party, so we made a magazine, and we're really happy to put it in your hands.
Now, you have a chair with a very misleading sign on it, because what I failed to do at the beginning was to say that you're a design program manager at Dropbox. You're not actually working at NASA, though those two companies are equally interesting. So what's Dropbox relationships to this? Why have they got involved?
Dropbox believes in it.
Full stop.
I mean, they gave us the budget, and that's really the start of it. And what really matters is that Dropbox does believe in equality of people, and our design team is more than 50% women, but only through the intention of going out and finding talent and bringing them in and making sure that our customer base, which is 50% women, looks like our team, and our team looks like the amazing women we support out in the world. And so we're all in, invested, the company's behind us, but they want to make sure that we use our platform to shed a light on other people in the world, and that we make space for creatives in non-traditional spaces or not at big companies. And so we cover some of those stories in the magazine, and we hope that you dig in and give them a look.
It was interesting just there, you just said that they go out and they find talent. I mean, one of the big questions I think people often wrestle with when it comes to parity and equality is how proactive companies should be, whether or not it's simply an act of just saying, well, we're going to be more inclusive in terms of the people that come to us, or is it a case of actually companies actually having to get off their backsides and actually having to proactively go out into the spaces which they wouldn't normally do in order to find the new types of talent that might address some of these percentages?
I think you're right in that you have to be proactive, and you have to build relationships that bring people in. And the reason for that is because all the traditional ways of finding people and running business were designed for men. Business was designed by and for men. And so you have to change your business model to make more space for other people and make sure that you find really incredible people and not just wait for them to come to you.
So I noticed on page something or other, I should have prepared, shouldn't I? But one of the early pages you talk about, as you just mentioned, you said Dropbox Design tipped the scales with a team that was 50% women and leadership that was 61% women. So without falling into cliche or stereotype, I mean, do you, more likely for me to do and not for you to do, but do you notice, and what sort of things do you notice as a consequence or as a result of having more women represented within the workplace? Is that measurable?
When we made it, totally is measurable. What happens in general is when you have diverse people in the room and you give decision-making power to a diverse set of people, you come to very different conclusions if you just have the same people making decisions all the time. And so we're smarter and faster and actually a better business for it. And we look at things like our ability to attract more talent, our ability to ship products and make sure that we're doing it ethically and in service of the right metrics for the right customers with the right value, and that we work with integrity and emotional intelligence and things that, the modern workplace really requires. So I think that there's tangible and intangible ways to measure the value of having a diverse team.
So this book that I'm holding in my hands, I know that you can't see me, but you can hear me at least. What is, in a way, the purpose of the book? I mean, clearly it's a celebration of the women that are contained within it. But is this something that you're, I don't know, dropping into conferences, you're handing out to every time somebody walks in through the front doors at Dropbox? I mean, how does this book actually get into the hands of people that actually you want to challenge in terms of their feelings towards parity?
Well, the way it gets in people's hands is that I've personally mailed over 1,500 copies to people around the world. And so my house is a shipping and receiving department right now. But the way that we're getting it out is it's available online. So anyone who's dialing in can take a look online and check it out. If you get a physical copy, it's because you filled out a Google form and we just sent it to you. The project was meant to really show our skin in the game and to demonstrate that we do value these things, and we'll put our brand behind feminism, which is not a new concept, but one that we still need to uphold in our value system. And so we're here talking about it today and hoping to convince more people to really investigate their relationship with equality in their work and in the creative community. And the purpose of it is to remind people that we still have so much work to do, and that in the creative community, we have the power to design change, and we can design a more equitable future by listening to stories, by challenging our assumptions, by redesigning the way we do business to include women and non-binary people.
I heard Jane Fonda the other day being interviewed. She'd just written a book called The Truth About or Behind Climate Change. And I have to say, I had a sinking feeling in my stomach because I just thought, whilst we need to think about climate change, why are we still entering into the space whereby we think that there's a discussion to be had, in a way? I mean, I think that one of the governors or something of your state talked about the fact that the argument is over, we don't discuss it anymore, we just do stuff about it. So don't you sometimes get a bit frustrated where you find yourself, I don't know, in forums like this or spaces like this or discuss where you almost feel like you're having to kind of defend the argument? And in a way, why do we still have to be in that? Why can't we just be in a position of action rather than a continual position of discussing whether or not feminism is right or not right?
Well, everyone's at a different point in the journey. And so we put out pieces like this just to educate people on the history, the icons, the concepts that exist within feminism. But we also have to take action. We have to make sure that women are paid just as well as men are, and that they get promoted at the same rates, and that creative women who are running independent studios get the same bids as the guys who are bidding. And until we get there, and until we get women dominance in the world, we still have work to do. And that's why you have to educate, you have to promote, you have to convince people who are exploring feminism for the first time that this is really about everybody. It's for men and women, and every human on this planet, and that it's not just work for women. It's work for everybody to do. So still got to keep fighting the fight until we've tipped the scales for the world.
Like climate change, they talk about 2030, they talk about 2050. Do you guys set a date, or do you just say it should be now?
It should have been yesterday.
That's a better answer.
Our mothers and grandmothers have been fighting, and we're still defending. We're still trying to close the pay gap, even though this thing has been on the table for more than 50 years. So unfortunately, we still have to fight for it.
Well, I want to thank you very much. I think we should give you a very large round of applause. Thank you very much, Michelle, for staying up late. I don't know if you're going to stay. Oh, she's gone. I don't know. Maybe she can still hear me. Who knows? But Michelle, if you're there, thank you very, very much. And I don't know if you're going to stay up and just carry on watching today, or whether or not you're going to sort of download. No, probably not. You're going to go to bed. I would if I was you. But thank you very much, Michelle. That's very kind of you.